Hi guys, welcome back for another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really beautiful burlap beach bag. It has great airflow, so if you're putting anything wet bathing suits or towels, it'll get them nice and dry a lot faster. I'm showing you how to do the grommets. Also, there is a hidden pocket inside, which will be great for protecting your sensitive items such as money and your phone if you do plan on putting anything wet inside the bag. So if you're interested in learning how to make this, all the measurements will be located over at my blog, which is charmedbyashley.com. All those links will be in the information icon as well as in the description box below. If you're not already following me on my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, those links will also be below, so definitely join the community. If you make this, I would love to see it. Okay, so I cut out my burlap. You have to be a little delicate when it comes to burlap because, of course, it does fray. Burlap comes in so many different colors and even sparkly ones, so you can really have fun and choose one that isn't, necessarily the normal burlap color. And then I have this canvas fabric. I got this over at Hobby Lobby. It's just a lightweight canvas, very strong. We are making this bag a one layer bag, so we're not going to have any lining. So also you have to cut out 2 other rectangles and have a zipper. This is going to be for the inside pocket. If you don't want an inside pocket, you can of course omit this step, but I find it is very handy, especially for the cell phone. Okay, so we're going to start off by installing the zipper into our pocket. So we're going to lay the zipper on one side of the long rectangle with the zipper pulled down. We're just going to sew close to the zipper teeth, as close as you can get. I use my zipper foot because I love my zipper foot. So if you don't have one, I would definitely invest in one. Then you're going to fold the fabric over to expose the top of the zipper. Do a top stitch along that edge, about 1 or 2 millimeters away from the zipper teeth. And then we're going to put on the next piece of fabric, which is that smaller rectangle. Do the exact same thing. Lay the right side of the fabric on top of the zipper teeth, and then fold it open again, and then do another top stitch like so. We are going to be working with a French seam, so if you don't already know what a French seam is, you can check a video. I will link that in the information icon as well as down below. But first you're going to fold up the bottom of that rectangle, and then we're going to sew down each side. Completely ignore the fact that the top rectangle is clearly larger. I will be trimming that off afterwards, so that is no big deal. We're going to sew down the one side. If you're using a bigger zipper, it's totally cool, just sew right over top of it. And on the other side, you're going to pull the zipper back so that of course you don't, cut it off. And you will just push those teeth together, sew over top, and now we are just going to trim off the edge. Trim off the edge about 1/4 of an inch away from that seam, because the next part is going to be where the French seam comes into play. Basically, we're encasing that raw edge inside so that we don't see them. This is ideal, especially when you're not doing lining, because you don't want raw edges, especially if you're going to try to give this as a gift or sell it. I like to pinch the sides, especially with a stiffer fabric. It's a little bit more, you can't just flatten it with your hands. So I usually take, clips or pins and just kind of make sure that I get that side seam nice and flat. And now we're going to work with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Because we did the 1/4 of an inch first, we're going to do the 1/2 inch, and that's going to make sure that all those raw edges are encased and you won't see them. And now you just flip that pocket, and then that will be done, and we can place that to the side. From here on, we will still be doing our French seams, so just know that this will be a repeat process for everything else because we don't want to see those raw edges inside the bag. So from here, we're going to do each side of the bag. So we're going to take our canvas fabric, lay that with the right side facing down, and then put the burlap on top. If you have a directional fabric, then make sure that it is going the right way. If you do it the wrong way, then when you go to assemble your bag, you'll realize that your fabric is upside down. So we don't want to do that. Mine is directional. It does have a pineapple on the front, so I'm making sure that the burlap is on the bottom. So I'm just doing a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and then I will open it up and then fold it back on itself. And then you're just going to pinch that edge just like we did before. Use clips or pins or whatever you have to make sure that that is nice and flat. If you want to iron, you can totally do that. I did put the iron on high heat and the burlap did stand up to it quite well. So that's your choice. And then I will do that 1/2 inch seam allowance to encase that raw edge. After we're done that, we're going to open up that panel and we are going to do a top stitch. We'll do that along the canvas side. It makes for a little bit more decorative, and it also holds down that French seam in the back just so it doesn't kind of get in the way when you go to put things into your bag. So you repeated that on the other panel, so you should have 2 equal panels. And then you will put the wrong sides together of your bag, lining up the seam there where the burlap meets the canvas, just so that you can make sure that when you do, when the bag is finished, that it looks like it all goes together perfectly. I'm just going to place some pins, and then I will sew down one side, down the burlap, and back up the other side, and do that with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And just remember that if you don't do a perfect 1/4 inch, it's totally okay. You can just, trim it to a perfect 1/4 inch when you're finished. So no big deal. When you are working with burlap, it does fray, but because we are doing the French seam, we're doing about 3 different seams on that burlap, so it should hold up just fine. I haven't had a problem and I use this bag all the time. Okay, so once you're done with that, you will turn the bag inside out, and we're going to do the same thing we did before by pinching the sides using clips or pins, and we will do that 1/2 inch seam allowance along all those 3 sides again. And we are almost done. So I hope you're enjoying this tutorial so far. I just want to let you know that I do have a Patreon, so if you're interested in supporting me, you can definitely check that out. That link will be in the description box below. I will give you early access to tutorials as well as some of my paid patterns for free. So thank you so much for considering, and let's keep going with this tutorial. So when you're going down the side, it can get a little bulky right here where that burlap meets the canvas, but because the burlap is very holy, it gives you absolutely no problems. You just kind of got to get over that hump. Okay, so from here we're going to keep the bag inside out. We're going to do a 1/2 inch hem around the top of the bag, and then we're going to fold it down 2 inches and do a 2-inch hem all the way around the bag. I'm just going to pin it all into place, and this is when we will take that zipper pocket and place it centered on one side of the bag. You're just going to slip it underneath that hem, and then when you go to sew your hem, then it will just keep that zipper pouch in place. So you're going to do a seam at the top and bottom of that 2-inch hem. And then after that, you are going to pinch the corners of your bag. They are still inside out, and you will line up the seams down the middle so it kind of turns into a triangle. And I will measure up 3 inches, and I'm going to do a seam across that 3 inches. So you can draw it out if you want, or you can just mark it with a pen. It doesn't have to be too fancy. So from here, I don't want to actually cut off this corner. Typically I would cut it off, but the thing is that because it's burlap and it could tend to fall apart, to ensure the longevity of this bag, I'm just gonna leave it and just have those little corners flopping in the bag. I don't really care. If you feel like you don't like them, you could go inside and tack those little triangles down, so that's no big deal. So now I'm going to flip the bag right side out, and I'm going to mark where I'm going to put my grommets. If you want to do a different strap, you're totally welcome to do so, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm using 1/2 inch grommets. I just got those over at Hobby Lobby. I used chalk, and I measured 2 inches from each side of the bag, and then 4 inches from those holes, and then I'm going to cut the fabric. It's a little bit tedious. I use scissors. I think there's a better way. If you have a grommet press, then this would be amazing. And if you did plan on making these bags, I would definitely invest in one of those, because this isn't the greatest system. It kind of deforms them sometimes. So I'm just going to stick that grommet inside there, put the back piece on with little spikies down, and then just hammer it into place. And I'm using a total of 8 grommets. And then I will go and get my rope. I got a nautical rope. I actually got it over at Dollar Tree, which I was really amazed. It's 1/2 inch thick, but you can get it from anywhere. Nautical is really big these days, so you can get rope anywhere, literally. I have links for everything you need at my blog, so if you want to find a list of materials, that will be there for you, and links and all that jazz. And so I'm just taking this cord. I don't remember how long I used. I will leave that in my blog post. It just worked out that I cut it in half, and then I started threading it through the grommet. It came already like taped off, so you definitely want to make sure if it's not taped, this would be really difficult. They have like electrical tape or something just like on the end, so it's easier to thread. So definitely do that, because once it's cut, then it just starts to kind of fall apart. So the first thing I did was, go through the first grommet, and then I will tie a good knot on the end. And if you get it good, it's not going to go anywhere. So you got to put a little bit of muscle into it, but I think it looks so nice. And if you have a little bit more rope than I did, then you can leave like a longer tassel and fray it more, and it can look really cute. So then I go into the next one, and then the next one, weaving it, and then on the last one you're going to again do a knot, and then repeat that for the other side, so you have 2 handles. And then you are done. What an adorable beach bag. I absolutely love it. I love the print, of course. I love the nautical rope. Rope is really in, and this is such soft rope, so it's not going to hurt your shoulders. And then, of course, this cute little hidden pouch. Perfect for your cell phones, money, and, small items. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And definitely follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you do make this, I would love to see it. On my Facebook, I do have a little community growing, so all those links will be down below. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.